Good evening, everybody. Let me get my face. There we go. Now you can actually see me. Welcome, everyone. Hope everyone is having a lovely evening. Let me know if my audio is loud, quiet, etc. Welcome to the stream tonight. Good to have everyone here. Sorry I was a couple minutes late. I was doing scenery on my T-Track modules, and listening into Paul's stream, and I kind of lost track of time. So I had to scramble to make sure I had everything ready, which luckily I did. I just needed to go grab a couple of things. But tonight, as you saw in the thumbnail, and as you see here on the workbench, we are working on some B&CCS SD40 SD40-2, so what Paul was working on. We're working on RS11s. It is ALC-O'Clock, as I so wittily put in the title. We're gonna have some fun tonight, getting decals on these Alcos and doing some fun storytelling, especially with this one. But before we get into that, a couple things. First of all, let's go ahead and say hi to everyone. Heath, I don't know if you're still here. You were here earlier. Dennis, good to see you. Garrett, being Ironwood, Scott, Dale, Ray, good to see everybody. Scott D, Mitch, great to see everyone. I am a bit quiet. Okay, everything is quiet or just me? Probably just me. Is that better? Is this okay? Let me know. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it like this. Let me know if that sounds any better, Scott. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it's okay. Regardless, welcome in, everyone. Before we get to the RS11s, oops, music loud. Also, why is that there? Alright, that's gonna go away. That's gonna go away. Hardly any sound. What? Hold on. Properties. It's on the right microphone. My gain is up pretty good. Was nice and yeah. What? All right. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping that it's okay now. I'm just gonna keep talking here and talking and talking, and hopefully you guys can tell me if this sounds better. And I can move around a little bit so I can get some good audio. Good, everyone can let me know what I sound like as I move around and as I work. If I sound good over here while I'm on the workbench, if I sound good here while I'm looking at you guys. Voice good from being Ironwood. Waiting on just a couple more things. The mic is too far away. I don't think it is. It's like a foot in front of my face. Dennis, do you maybe need to turn your volume up? I know it sounds silly, but I mean, it's a possibility, I guess. I don't know. 'Cause things look like they're fine on my end. They look, my settings, my levels on my mixer on Streamlabs on OBS look good. So I don't know what's going on if it's not that. Sounds good to Garrett. Okay, good. Alright, I'm gonna roll with things being okay for now. Fingers crossed. And get into some of what's going on here. So, you have the computer running into your TV. Huh. I'm not sure what's going on there for you, Dennis. I'm sorry. But hopefully you can figure it out. But I hate to say it, but it seems to be on your end because everyone else is starting to say that it sounds okay. So Before we get into these RS11s, though, we have a bit of mail call. This is from one Paul Stamp. There it is. Who went ahead and ordered this for me. I paid him for it, but he ordered it for me to make sure I have everything I need for one. Got the sound in your phone good. Okay, well, at least you figured out a workaround. Glad to hear. We're going to go ahead and open this up. And this is actually not for the anything N scale. Most of what we're doing tonight is N scale. This is the one thing that's not for an N scale project. Even though it could work for an N scale project. And this is, in fact, get that box out of here. A Loke Sound V5 single wires. And this will be the sound decoder for the GP9 project, which I still have not modified. Still quiet for you, Scott. All right, I'll boost myself up a little bit more, but I don't want to boost myself too much because then I'll start blowing people out. But yeah, so I still have not done any work on the Jeep 9 project. It's definitely not getting done by Springfield, unfortunately. I was really hoping that I would have it done by Springfield to be able to run it on the Fremo layout, but that's not going to be the case. So instead, it will be done, and I'm going to make sure that it gets done. It'll be done in time for the Rochester RPM. So anyone who has not already signed up for the Rochester RPM and wants to have a good time and can get there in the middle of February, the Rochester RPM will have lots of B&CCS and a bunch of my New Haven stuff, you know, because it is a prototype meet in addition to the freelance stuff. There's going to be a lot of freelance representation, though. But yeah, this is going to be the decoder for it. I have speakers on order for both this and one of the RS11s. We're going to put a speaker in the cab. Probably that's where I measured that it should fit, is in the cab. But we're going to get that. As soon as the speaker comes, I will have all the parts I need for this project now. The last thing that I needed to figure out, the reason I didn't start it yet is because I was trying to figure out. So part of the redesign for this is that I'm cutting into the sill here to put more modern style Jeep air tanks alongside the fuel tank, and I'm also taking this off and extending the fuel tank out to there, just with some styrene. But when that is done, the mount point that the little pin that holds the shell to the frame will not be able to do that anymore. So I think I've designed a workaround to both fill the gap in the pilots, front and rear, and hold the shell on all in one through the coupler boxes. So that's gonna be the plan. I gotta do that first and make sure that works before I do any of the modifications otherwise, because if I don't, or if it doesn't work, then I've got bigger things to figure out before I can continue with this project. And then it probably won't be done in time for Rock RPM. Or if it is, then it'll be just done in time. But this is hopefully going to be the case. Literally use screws. Yeah, that's basically the plan. Is I'm gonna, as I use styrene to fill the gaps in the pilot, I'm going to extend the styrene back over the screw for the screw plate for the coupler, and basically replace the existing screw plate with some styrene that's mounted to the pilots, and that'll be that. All right, so let's get this this big old engine out of the way so we can focus on our primary targets for the evening. Something that I think, going to try and get done in time for Springfield is this guy. I might try and cobble together some decals for it. But this is an ALC-O S2. I think it's an S2? Yeah, S2. Which is going to be a B&CCS locomotive that survives somehow into the early 2000s. And for now, I'm probably just going to do some paint on it and put a decoder in it, because I already have a decoder that I've made sure it fits. So then I just got to run some lights to the decoder and hook it up to the motor. And that will, I think I'll be able to get, well, I don't know. We'll see if I can get that done in time for Springfield, because I've got 17 other projects that I'm working on in time to Springfield. One of which is these guys. So let's go ahead and get down to it. So these are a pair of RS-11s. This one is a, the more maroon one is a old Atlas Kato unit, and the B&CCS full paint one is a Atlas Classic unit. Hey, there's Paul. Good evening, Paul. Thank you for the lovely decoder. It's it'll be fun to get that put into the Jeep 9. Like I said, it's not gonna happen in time for Springfield. Now I'm realizing how many other projects I have to get done in time for Springfield. Between the T-Track, these guys now I'm committing to having done by Springfield. The stuff for Heath, it's all overlapping. But it will definitely, the Jeep 9 will definitely be at the rock RPM. So yeah, these RS-11s. So the story for these is they both came from Conrail. In 1979, they had the, I think I had it be 79. Let me double check my sheet. Diesel roster. RS-11, 1979, yes. So the B&CCS got 5 RS-11s off of Conrail in 1979. Thanksgiving 1979, they had their ALC-O Purge, which for someone who likes ALC-Os, like myself, means that I have an easy acquisition of locomotives for my railroad. So B&CCS bought 5 off of off of Conrail, and the 5 that I chose are 5 of the ex-Lehigh Valley units, which were technically owned by the Pennsylvania originally, and then by Penn Central, and was leased to the Lehigh Valley, which means that they are high hood and not the low hood, or excuse me, high nose and not the low nose RS-11s that the Lehigh Valley bought outright. Just because I like the more traditional RS-11 look. So what that also means is this unit here is still going to be in Lehigh Valley paint. After a long time on Conrail, it will be in LV paint. If I can quickly grab my reference image, I can show you what we are going to do. Let's see, where's the reference image that I was working off of? Come on, where is it? Gross Pensy. This website? Yes. And it was... Where's the unit? Where's the unit? Where's the unit? Come on. Work, eyeballs. Oh, it's because I'm on page 2. Oh, well, actually, no, there's the unit. So if I do this, and do that, this is our target. We are trying to model Conrail / Lehigh Valley 7640. And as you can see, when Conrail took over, they painted over the Lehigh Valley, but the Lehigh Valley did not stay painted over very well. So I am going to model that. On my decal sheet, I have, oops, I gotta turn it off and then transition. There we go. I have everything necessary to model the LV unit. I also have all the stuff for the B&CCS unit, but I have everything necessary to model an LV unit. And then once the LV is done, let me zoom in and I can show you. There, zoom to maximum power. Here and here we have the lettering basically wiped out. Here, these are the Conrail patches, and they are crossed over, and these are 7640s. Those are crossed over. And over here, I have, it's hard to see, white on blue. But I have the, yeah, it's not showing up on the camera because it's white on blue. But I have the B&CCS reporting mark and the new number 314 in like spray lettering, like stencil lettering. And it's just going to be haphazardly placed on the hoods and on the cab. So it's going to be a double patch out, which will be really fun. Hurrah! That's great to hear, Garrett. Well, it sucks to hear because, you know, it means you've got... it means you got a dud board. But I'm glad that you got it working. And well, that is the key, is to wire it correctly, Garrett. That certainly does help. All right, so let's start with the LV unit, because this unit's going to take several rounds of decals. So we're going to start with that unit, and we'll go to the B&CCS unit afterwards. So we're going to start with the hoods, the noses, I mean, excuse me. And on the noses, I'm going to put the high-vis striping that the LV had. And I'm just going to loosely cut it out, and then I'll trim it down once I get it out of the decal sheet. So this is going to be basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put on the LV decals, seal it, paint over the Lehigh Valley, wipe it out, wipe it off, you know, clean it off. It would help if they said trying to pull power off of the in would fry things. Yeah, that would be that would cause some confusion, I would imagine, if you didn't know that that was bad and then it was bad. All right, let's go ahead and do some trim work to get a nice clean decal. Now here's the real question here is, did I actually size this decal right? Because I'm fairly certain that I did. But I have no way of knowing until I put it on the model. how far around did the warning stripes wrap? They wrap, of course my thing is right in the way. Looks like all the way around to the sides. Hey, how you doing, Ted? Good to have ya. This is a unit that I think you're going to like quite a bit, Ted, because it is going to get a lot of weathering. The decals that I'm currently working on are for a B&CCS RS11, which was bought from Conrail in the Alka Purge of '79. Its heritage is Lehigh Valley with, it's one of the units that the LV was leasing from the Pennsy. And it stayed in its Lehigh Valley paint basically all the way through Conrail till it got sold off. But it had the Conrail patches on it. So they just painted over the word Lehigh Valley on the side of the unit, and then it fought its way back through the paint. And then on top of the patches from the Conrail patch out, I'm gonna patch the Conrail patches out to my own. So it's gonna have like 3 layers of weathering on it, which is gonna be fun. I need my tweezers. These ones will do. Let me just make sure this is nice and clean. There we go. Make sure the decals are N and not HL. Yeah. No kidding. All right. So this is me kind of trying to test fit this, dry fit it, so to speak. Okay, so it looks like it might need a little bit of a trim on the edges of the white, so I'm just going to preemptively do that. Shoot, I hope I just didn't do too much, but oh well. If I did, oh well. All right, here we go. Sounds good, Garrett. See you when you come back. All right, let's dip this decal. So actually, if I do screw these up, funnily enough, I do have basically 100% of the decals for this unit duplicated. The only thing I don't have duplicated is I only have 1 extra yellow stripe instead of 2. But I did a previous order for these decals, and I screwed up the graphics on the file that I sent them. So they printed me a fusion scale that they print exactly what you send them, whatever it is. It winds up coming to me, and I can't really use most of the decals, but this decal set actually works. So I have spares of all of these decals if I really screw it up. All right, let's see. Hey, how you doing, Steve? Oh wait, you were in here before. I don't know why I forgot that you were in here, Steve. Oh, let me get one of these guys out. When I'm doing my decaling, I like to use little Q-tips to move the decals around because I just find it works really nice. Of course, for one this big, Found a set of headphones lying on the side of your computer desk. Sound fixed. Hey! Good to hear. Good to hear that, Dennis. Are you saying that the sound was playing through your headphones and that's why it was so quiet? Because that could certainly explain some things. Let's pull that off. Let's really soak this all in water. Want to get it nicely centered. So actually it looks like I trimmed it just about right, which is awesome. Oh, okay. It was quiet from computer to flat screen. You put on the headphones and now you can hear. Got it. Well, regardless, glad to have you. That looks pretty good. Of course, this is going to need a lot of microsol to get it to sit nice over these grab irons. If I had more time, I would probably make. Make some wire grabs and do that. But for right now, I'm just gonna. I just gotta do it. If I want to get this even remotely close to done in time for Springfield. That's kind of where I'm at. You have the issue when you're watching Heath. Okay, so the other thing I need to do is this. Well, we'll do that later. These other white stripes here, these are for the pilot, but we'll do that later. I do need to pop the brake wheel back out. In order to get this decal to go on right. There we go. Just gonna very carefully kind of try and wedge it up here. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to send it flying because I don't know where I put the brake wheel on the other RS11. So that one's not going to have a brake wheel in time for Springfield. There we go. Pop that out. Let me go ahead and place that carefully in with the other parts of this unit. There we go. All right, let's cut out the other one. There we go. Put the decals out of the way. Let's come back over here. Sorry for manhandling the camera a little bit. I just noticed I'm working a little closer to myself, so I'm gonna pull the camera angle to match. There we go. So when is the next 12-hour marathon stream? Well, won't be 12 hours, but I'll probably do 3 or 4 hours in February because we are, I'm part of a community of young modelers known as the Model Train People. And we do an annual charity live stream. We do 24-hour stream, but it's the whole community doing the stream together. So it's not like one person is on for 24 hours. Although last year and the year before, I did get kind of close to that. But regardless, I'll probably take a couple of 2 to 4 hour slots for that. Doing weathering, doing maybe some decal work, maybe doing some ops on the layout. We'll see. But we are working on planning that out and getting that put out there. But that's going to be... although it's going to be a charity live stream, just like the one that I did in the past, but it's going to be to promote a children's hospital out in, I think, Evansville, Indiana is, I think, the one we're doing this year. Last year was the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and the year before that, the funds went directly to a college fund for the daughter of my cousin after my cousin was killed. Orphaning her infant daughter. So, it's a great community. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I will those streams will be definitely on the Model Train People YouTube channel, which is also where the Model Train People podcast goes out, which I'm a co-host of, and we are this week going to be recording our first episode of season 2, part 2. Excuse me. But yeah, so that's the next live stream. That's going to be the Trainathon. Okay, back to this. No, don't fall down. You're not allowed to do that. Decal. There we go. The channel is Model Train People. Drop the young. So it's youtube.com/@modeltrainpeople. I'm just looking to make sure now that the warning stripes actually are on both sides of this. So I'm seeing a whole lot of pictures of the front of the unit, which is the unit, it's the side. Oh, well, thank you for subscribing there then. LV 40, 7640. Ah, see, I'm glad I looked. That's important to know. On the short hood, I'm so glad that I looked. On the short hood, it just has the diamond. It doesn't have the warning stripes. I'm glad I thought to check that. Because when I was making the decals, I was just kind of going, I was going a little bit quickly. I was just kind of, you know, I had a thought in the moment, and I just kind of went with it. So I just copied the same design. But that totally makes sense, actually, because it would be a pain to work around the brake wheel with the painting of these stripes. So let me go ahead and trim just the diamond out here. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and refloat the decal. Let's put that right on here. Too much excess water. No. Pardon me. Come here, you. You wascally decal. Oh my goodness. Just slide onto the model already. Yeah, I think I might have to do that because I had some water on there, but I think it's dried off in the time that I've been struggling with this freaking decal. There we go. There it goes. Perfect. Thank you, Dennis, for that. Put some more water on there, that way I can float it around properly now. There we go. That looks about right from what I'm seeing. That looks much nicer. What got me is I Let me pull up the reference photo I had again. You know, I kept looking at this over here. I'm like, I only see the one point. Up front here, you know, you've got the point and then you've got the stripes coming back all the way to the radiator. But up here, it was just the one point. And that got me re-looking, and I'm glad I did, because I went, oops, that's the wrong tab. That's the right tab. Here's 7640, same unit, only the diamond on the side with the brake wheel. So, I'm glad I thought to look at that. So, anyways. Oh, let's hide my, we don't want you to see my music. All my jazz. Let's see, yeah. Starting the last layer of 12-hour print on the printer. Nice, Scott. Awesome. Heck yeah. All right, so now those are on. Let me go ahead and put some microsol on them. Grab a clean brush. Which brush do I want to go with? Let's go with this one. Let's go ahead and get the microsol all over the decal. That way it can conform nicely. Same on this side. Make sure that decal is thoroughly soaked. Okay. Now that those are on and setting, let's go ahead and cut out the next decal here. So I think what I'm going to do next, I think I'm going to do the Lehigh Valley next. Let's put this up here. There we go. 3 minutes to go. Nice. That's awesome, Scott. trying to get a good grasp on where. There we go. Perfect. That's what I was looking for. This an image just like that. So the L needs to be pretty much in line with that side of the dynamic brake. Actually, let's do the valley first, and then we'll align the Lehigh from that. Because the Y is nice and easy. Because the top of the Y goes just shy of flush with the intake. I don't know why I'm doing this. This really doesn't matter that much. But I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to keep doing it. It doesn't matter. Oh, I guess it does matter that much. What I'm doing is I'm cutting out a lot of the just blank decal film in between the letters to try and cut down on the decal film that winds up on the final model. That way it's less shininess to have to deal with. I've started taking the time that I need to do this recently, and it does make a difference. Okay, so valley goes there. Yep, 4 a.m. comes way too soon for you, Dennis. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you. Have a great rest of your night. So Valley needs to go right there. And then Lehigh goes even with it height-wise, right about there. Just like that. Perfect. Print is done, pretty much succeeded. You're printing 18 copies of a part. One of them pulled up a bit at the end. You canceled that part to make sure it didn't cause issue with the others. Nice. Good thinking. Great to hear that it's done. All right, keep trimming away here.
So I know the answer for some of you, but who else out there, other than the people that I know, is going to be at the Springfield show? Who's going to be at Amherst? Hope to meet some of you folks there. I'm gonna try to make. I don't know for sure if I can make it to the YouTuber meetup that's going to be happening at the ATLP booth Saturday at 1 p.m. I'll try, but it depends on my schedule for volunteering for things. But what I will definitely be at the ATLP booth is at 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, where we are having a Circa/ARC meetup. I want to thank Ray for hosting us. But basically, you know, everyone is invited to come meet the members of Circa, meet the, you know, both member railroad owners and, you know, fellow freelancers, and just kind of hang out and get to know each other. Let me add another layer of microsol onto this front and rear here. Front and rear hood. There we go. All right. Let's grab the Lehigh. Shoot, I forgot I was going to do the valley first. All right. Let's dip the valley. We'll get the Lehigh onto the unit, but we won't be able to finalize its placement yet. Nathan, welcome in. Good to have you. Hope you're doing well tonight. I'm working on... Whoops, it's out of frame. There we go. I am working on basically decaling a Lehigh Valley RS-11 in order to un-Lehigh Valleyify it. Turn it into a Conrail unit, and then patch over the Conrail stuff to turn it into a Balfour and Colucci Creek Southern unit, which is my freelance. So it's a multi-step process that we're embarking on here, which should be a lot of fun to work out. So it goes somewhere in there. Now let's get the valley. Your dad made decals for Jersey Transit and Metro North Heritage units, all the decals of all those engines. That's so awesome. That is incredibly awesome to hear. Great work on your dad's part. That's so sick. Someday I think it might be fun for me to try and do the Jersey Transit, the NJT, their Conrail Jeep 40P, because I think that's a nice looking unit. Might be fun to try and make that happen. Whether an N or HO, I haven't decided. Probably N, even though it doesn't match my era. There we go. One of your really old videos. You don't mean to promote you say this, but you have a video what your dad did for NJT with Pensy and Lackawanna Locomotive only employees. Cool. Yeah, don't worry about like. You know, I'm fine with you. You know, directing people to go check out a cool thing on your channel. I don't mind that. As long as you're not like trying to spam it, you know. Otherwise, I am, you know, more than happy to let folks talk about what they've done on, you know, on YouTube and what they're working on their model and stuff like that. Employees only celebration, but not open to the public. Your dad invited you to be a part of it. There we go. That's the finish of that thought. That's awesome. There we go. That looks about right. Great. Let's put some microsol on this. Get that settled into its final position. There we go. What's the year I started YouTube and why did I begin? You've been YouTube 10 years, 2020, 11, March 5th. You know, I don't actually remember off the top of my head the year. Let me take a look here. If I go to my oldest public video, it's been 9 years now, 10 years now since I started. Let's see, my first real video was March 2016. So just shy of 10 years now. I've been on YouTube. And, you know, it's been a learning journey, and you know, it's only the past 5 or 6 years that I've really been, you know, trying making what I think is quality content. Not that the stuff before was terrible, but it was, you know, relatively low quality. So it's been a lot of fun though. To make videos. I started just because I wanted to kind of share what I was doing in the hobby and have fun, you know, chatting with people online about model railroading, and you know, kind of found a community along the way. Your dad has made decals for model trains, but the difference between the decals I'm using and the ones that your dad did for you is they're much thicker than the ones I'm using. Yeah, these are custom printed from the company Fusion Scale Graphics. They do custom decal work. So I did the graphic design work on these. You know, I did all of the computer drawings and then I sent that file off to FSG, and they printed it for me. So they have a way of printing it where it's nice and thin decal film, so it doesn't, it doesn't stand super proud of the paint. And it's fairly easy to cover up in most cases with a bit of what's it called, gloss coat and then dull coat, not matte medium, gloss medium and then matte medium. You understand what you mean? You were kind of that way too when you were 15. You wanted to be part of the action. When you first start, you think your YouTube videos are good, but then you realize over time they're not as good as they used to be, and your videos are better. The general idea of videos, kind of weird how it works. Yeah, I mean, it's just a learning process. It's as you learn and as you improve your skills and as you gain access to more tools as you get older and stuff like that. When I started, I didn't edit anything. I just set the camera to record and then moved it around and talked and stuff. And then I learned about the built-in YouTube editor, and then they took that out, so I kind of took a hiatus for a little bit because I didn't know how to edit any other way other than with the built-in one that they used to have. And then I found I was using iMovie for a little bit, and then when iMovie, I wasn't super satisfied with what I was doing in iMovie, so but when I went to school, I got access to the Adobe Creative Cloud, which then let me have access to Premiere Pro, and that's what I've used ever since. And everything's a learning process. It's all steps. What the heck happened? All right, this one goes right in here. There's Lehigh. Have a good night, Garrett. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Good luck with working on that caboose, and I look forward to seeing it at the RPM, since you said it probably won't be ready in time for Springfield. So look forward to seeing it then. Have a good night, my friend. I'm working off camera, aren't I? Yes, I am.
What city's the RPM? You live in Pennsylvania. Oh, you live in Reading in Northern Territory. Cool. So the RPM is in New York. It's up in Rochester. So probably a pretty good distance drive for you, but I don't know. It's a good distance drive for me. It's about 8 hours for me, but I've got a lot of friends up in the Rochester area, so it's worth the drive out for me. What railroads do I live near? I live near Metro North. I live near CSX. Those are the two big ones. I can get to Middletown, New Jersey. I could get to the Housatonic out in Connecticut. I live in Dutchess County, New York, so east and west shores of the Hudson, and then a little bit into southern New England I could get to pretty easy. My favorite railroad is the New York, New Haven, and Hartford. Fallen Flag, it doesn't exist anymore, but I love the New Haven. Big part of my freelance's history includes the New Haven, so I tried to make sure that was the case and that I could keep the New Haven going a little longer than it did in real life within my story. There we go. Best Nerdy Dad told you. It's very secret to their projects. They always do. For example, had Metro North to measure and climb over the news to do proper equipment. Let's say security at Metro North gets confusing because that's how they are. Secretive they are. I don't know. I don't know much about the behind the scenes stuff. I'm far more a modeler than I am a rail buff. I know a lot of the history. I don't know a lot about how the railroads operate nowadays. I know a fair bit, but not that much, especially not like commuter railroads and stuff like that. I don't try and get in and see things and stuff like that. I'm happy to just sit trackside and see what comes. I've only been on a couple of chases before in my life, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. That looks about right. Perfect. So let's go ahead and microsol it up. To get that to conform well. How are the ends looking? Not too bad. Pop these bubbles. Chases for Alcos, indeed, Paul. You know about that. It's thanks to you that happened. And a big thanks at that. Let's push this air out. That would be, Paul, that would be a good shirt for me whenever I get around to making my merch is will chase for Alcos.
That could be really fun. All good. Are you more of like more of like you like to see a train run in real life and that's it, recording it, or not? I like to record while I have the chance, like doing whatever I do and jump by the opportunity. Yeah, in a way that's safe, of course. Yeah, I like to record and take pictures of what I see, but I don't, it's not too often that I go out of my way to go out rail fanning. It happens from time to time, and I totally, I love doing that. But for me, it's more of, whenever I'm around the tracks, I'm keeping an eye on things and taking pictures and videos of what I see. But I'm not like super, I'm not a huge rail fan the way some folks are. So, Paul, as the resident Cornell Red expert, how would you say this is looking so far? I think it's I think we're really getting there. See, where Nathan lives, there are no modern engines. Well, sort of. For an example, there's a bunch of Jeep 30s that are technically brand new, but only you got like Jeep 30 rebuilds. Cool, those are cool. I would much rather see like Jeep 30 rebuilds than the Gevos. There's nothing wrong in my book with the Gevos, but I just see so many of them that I get a little burnt out on them. So, but I imagine the same goes for you with the Jeep 30 rebuilds. So, the yellow on the decal seems a little too light, but that's not an issue if I'm gonna. Yeah, exactly. If I wanted it to be true LV, I probably, when I saw the because I had the failed set, I could have adjusted things. I probably would have added a little bit more value to the yellow if I really wanted to nail the color, but I figured because it's going to get pretty heavily weathered, it's not that big of a deal. Excuse me. Overworking the decals a little bit, so I'm going to stop right there for now. Sam, good evening, Sam. Good to see you. Looking forward to picking up the Model Train People podcast this afternoon. Or not this afternoon, this week. Scott, going to be dropping off. Have a great night. Thanks for stopping in. I got to catch up on your videos. I got to catch up on. I saw you put out one about what you're going to build next, and it looks great. From just the little bit that I saw, I got to go back and really watch the video though. So, opening a video about Jeep 30s. They're the same looking engines, but with modern equipment on the inside. Absolutely, yeah. Looking good so far. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Okay, so now I think next. So I guess I have a choice here of what I should do next, because I could do the yellow stripes, or I could do the cab info.
I think I'm gonna do the yellow stripes because then I can work everything else around that. And I'm definitely gonna cut the yellow stripes into segments because we'll see. It's gonna be a complicated build. Oh boy. Sounds like fun. In any case, have a great night, my friend. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. What time is it? 10:20. Okay. My goal tonight is to get this unit basically done as far as Lehigh Valley goes. And then get the B&CCS unit done, because the B&CCS unit should be fairly simple. Oh, I also forgot to mention one of the most fun facts about this unit. Is it next week? Sam? Anyways, one of the fun things about this unit is I am putting an ESU Loc Sound decoder in it, and I'm putting a speaker in it. So I've already started work on trimming away the frame in order to fit the speaker. There's still a little bit more here I need to do, and then I want to basically trim away everything to be flush with this surface here. So 21st. Oh, why did I think? I thought we record this Wednesday though as well. Sam. I don't know. No, I'm not sure. In any case, we can figure it out. Regardless of when it is, though, I am looking forward to getting back into it. Let me get my ruler out for this. Where did I put a ruler? I have a couple of them. I just don't know where they went. I'm still settling into this new space. And there's some things that haven't found their way to their home yet. Let me go check over here. I will be right back. Success. Okay, let's see. We were talking about it, but couldn't get a definitive date or guest. Ah, okay. Gotcha, Sam. So, 21st then, for sure. Nathan, I did not move into an apartment. What I did do is move in with my grandmother. She was kind enough to let me stay with her, which helps me because it, lets me get out of the house that I grew up in and start making a space of my own. It also allows me to get a lot more space to organize everything that I'm doing and have space enough to really sort out all of my stuff. And it helps her because it's someone else in the house for her. Oh my goodness. I'm just royally screwing these stripes up. Forget the ruler. I'm doing it by hand. Extremely nice of her, and I'm so grateful to her.
Well, that's we're gonna see how this works. We're gonna find out if this is gonna work at all. I also need to trim away a lot of this here. Let's just start with this right here, because that should work fine right here. Does she watch my videos? Sometimes. Sometimes she does. Actually, before I do this, let me think about this. All right, now we're gonna do it, and then I'm just gonna trim the decals. What is on my bucket list of places that I want to visit and go to that are train stuff? Well, I have not yet been to the Horseshoe Curve, and it doesn't matter how cliche it is, you gotta go. I would love to get to what's it called? North Platte Yard, out in Nebraska. Although that's relatively low on my list because I have been to Selkirk Yard up just south of Albany, which is not that much bigger, not that much smaller than North Platte. So it's, you know, it's not a big deal if I don't do that. I'd love to see the 4449. She was one of the first steam locomotives I ever really fell in love with. So I'd love to go see her out in Oregon. What else? I don't know. There's a lot of things. I want to get to the Illinois Museum of Transportation. Or no, Illinois Railway Museum. That's the one. I want to get to IRM. Outside of Chicago. As things are happening with, you know, steam revivals and stuff like that, obviously at some point I need to get out to, for, you know, having grown up in New York Central Territory, as well as New Haven Territory, but it's also, you know, largely New York Central Territory. I'm going to have to get out to see Mohawk 3001 when Fort Wayne gets her up and running, because, I mean, that's just awesome that they're getting a New York Central steam locomotive steamed up again, and I am incredibly excited for that to happen. Oh my goodness, so many messages. Let's see, Nathan, I can understand why the Horseshoe Curve. I've been going on Amtrak since 2019. You're the ride to Pittsburgh and Canada. That's only two places. The reason you go through there. It makes sense. Yeah, Paul needs to see 4449 as well. Tends to be a childhood favorite for sure. Absolutely, Sam. If I ever find my way out that direction, totally, I'll let you know. Never seen 4449 before. Like in person or in general? Because if you haven't seen her in general, like you don't know what I'm talking about, totally look her up. She is gorgeous. But if you mean in person, then yeah, I that makes sense. Especially since you said you live in, I think you said you live in PA. So Washington State's a little far to just kind of travel on a whim to see a steam locomotive like that. That's the reason why I haven't seen her yet. National Convention's in Tacoma, Washington next year. It's close enough to make the drive. Let's go. I mean, it's not, you know, Paul, it's not out of the question. I have to decide. I have to make the decision if I'm going to get to Chattanooga this year. It's just so hard because of the position in life I'm in right now. Nothing is really stable. I don't have like a job that has like PTO and vacation time and stuff like that. I just work when I work and don't when I don't, which is great, but also means that, you know, I don't have a ton of income. But I know my girlfriend Teresa really was like, yeah, I wanted to see, yeah, she wanted to go to Chattanooga. So I might be able to make it happen this year, but definitely gonna get to Rochester in 28 for sure. And then I've got to just, I guess maybe Tacoma in 27. I haven't been to the West Coast, and it's always been on my bucket list. So you've only seen it through videos, but never in person. You've seen two videos before, absolutely. You're on YouTube on VHS tapes in the early 2000s. You know about the day like it. PTO for jobs is paid time off. It's basically your vacation time. It means that, you know, every year you have X number of days that don't count against you for if you take time off. You know. Let you know about Chattanooga too, of course, Sam. Yeah, if I do make that decision, I'll let everybody know. No Chattanooga this year for you, but you love Seattle, Tacoma, so you're gonna try. Yeah. I've never been out to the West Coast, so I've never been further west than St. Louis. So, yeah, that's still true. I was like, how far west is New Orleans? No, New Orleans is not further west than St. Louis. What am I planning on doing for Trainathon this year? That's a great question, Sam. I'll probably take at least a couple of slots. And I am going to be doing, you know, one slot will definitely be weathering. One slot will probably be ops on the layout. Hopefully by then I will have started my layout rebuild and ops will be a little more reliable. Because I'm hoping to pick up the track I need at Springfield. Which reminds me, Paul, I gotta make sure that I finalize my list and share it in the ISO board on your server. You haven't been to West Coast either before, but it'd be awesome to go. You'd love to go to England? Yeah, for sure. It's also to represent your first scratch-built train you ever made out of soda cans. That's so fun. That's so fun. I'd love to go. I mean, this is not super train related, but I would love to see the trains while I'm there, of course. You know, the Pendolinos and stuff. I want to go to Italy really bad. You know, my heritage is, you know, that I'm about half Italian. Took Italian class all through high school, so I know a fair chunk of the language. enough that I could pick it up back up again with relative ease, probably, in order to get out there. But
and then of course you got Japan for trains. You'll be doing kit freight cars as well as some truck conversions, mostly simple stuff, but enough for you to do something. Yeah, of course. When you build trains out of soda cans, they're more like models for HO scale, and they run. That's so cool.
That's so cool. I love that.
You rode the ICE in Germany back in 01? That's so cool. Rode high speed from Florence to Rome, was so excited to do it, then fell asleep the whole way. Ah. That's so funny. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. It is still so funny, though.
Man, I would have loved to have been around to see
The ICE and the X2000
when Amtrak was trialing them here in the States.
That would have been so cool. I've got a tape on that that my brother digitized for me. I gotta watch that one still though. Excuse me. All right, next piece of this. It was a phenomenal nap. Train naps are always good. Absolutely. Train naps are the best. The rocking on the tracks, just something about it puts you right to sleep in the best way. Let's cut that in half. That one working in manageable chunks. Making trains out of soda cans since 17. First with Duchess of Hamilton, but you've made loads more after that. That's awesome. I have to. Do you have that on your channel? Because I haven't seen that. I'll have to take a look. Also, why did nobody yell at me that I was working off camera again? Come on, guys. You know the rules. When I'm doing something bad, yell at me. Got some 1, 2, 3 blocks on order. Should be any day. That way you can start making buildings for the new layout. Need to build the automobile plant. Awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited to see your layout progress, Sam. The concept behind it sounds so good. It's like, let me know if I'm getting this wrong, Sam. Totally, but I'm gonna try and share it with the class here. Basically, it's like between Detroit and oh, what was the other city? Why can't I think of it? Hey, Corey! Welcome in, Corey. Good to have you, my friend. Good to see you back on YouTube. Anyways, Sam is working on a layout that's between, I can't think of the other city. Maybe you could shout it out, Sam. But it's between Detroit and something else that I can't remember, also in the upper Midwest there, which is gonna be mostly T-track layouts. all T-track modules. What am I saying? I am speaking gibberish at this moment. It's going to be T-track modules that he can then, take pieces out of and bring to shows and stuff. Chicago. Why couldn't I think of Chicago? My mother is literally there right now. But, yeah, between Detroit and Chicago, and it's, I believe, going to be your fictional modern day, or not modern day, 1990s Grand Trunk, right? You're listening to this like a podcast, scanning photos of the inaugural run of the Turboliner in Albany right now. That's so cool. Scanning Kodak slides all day. You're so tired. So I'm working, Corey, on this is a N-Scale RS11. I'm basically decaling it for the Lehigh Valley, only to then paint over the Lehigh Valley and put Conrail patches on it, and then unpaint the patches to patch it for my own railroad. So basically, let me pull the reference photo back up again here. We're going for this image right here, but then cross out the Conrail patches and put my own patches next to it. So that's the project right now. And then I also have, whoa, where am I? There we go. I also have a B&CCS painted RS11, which needs decals as well. But I want to get the Lehigh Valley one done first. Where's the decal? Oh, it's in the water, right. Mike Bednar would be very mad. That he would. Oh, I love Mike Bednar videos. The best. But yeah, it's all part of the story. It's part of, Conrail had their Alco purge in 1979. And so my railroad, being largely an Alco road, decided to take advantage and bought a bunch of Alcos off of Conrail, including the Lehigh Valley RS11s, including what else? C430s. Something else too. I don't know. I don't have my spreadsheet pulled up. But we took advantage in a big way of Conrail purging all their Alcos. Alco magic indeed. All right, let me catch up with you with what you've been saying, Nathan. Here. You've been to New York very rarely. When you were in middle school, you took the subway train in and out of New York just to visit the Lego store there. That's fun. Last year in Canada, you had to go. New York, Union Station of Amtrak just to go home because it was part of the route back to Pennsylvania. So you've been to Penn Station? Nice. And yes, you do have a playlist of all the scratch builds. Nice. I will have to check that out. Ooh. Why can't I think of it? SDP-40Fs. That's what they are, Corey. I love the Amtrak SDP-40Fs. So I would love to see that slide at some point. That sounds awesome. And a Penn Central RS3 right behind them. Dude, that's phenomenal. I really need to talk to my friends around here who have slide collections. Especially of the railroads that I want to model. The section of the New Haven that I really want to model. And get them. Did I have one of those in N-Scale? That I do. I do have a SDP40F and N scale. And I have a 20-car Rainbow Era fleet, Rainbow Era passenger train to run with it, which I will be bringing with me to Amherst. So Corey, if you want to get over to the T-Track layout in the Young building at some point, I will try to make sure to run that for you. Alright, I need to cut this decal in half. It's just too long to work with right now. Just trim it right there. Come on. Break, decal. There we go. Even though it was retired in 81, you're thinking of repainting an RS1 into the Berdacan blue just for fun. And a DWP RS11. Nice. I think of all of the all of the like CN US holdings, I think I liked the DWP logo the most, because it's still very clearly part of the family with the logo, but it has its own distinct style to it. While the Grand Trunk logo is nice, the GT noodle, the fact that the DWP kind of has its own distinct shape to it still, with the letters, I think it looks really nice. Yeah, you remember showing you the Rainbow Collection a few years back. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I've got some. I love my Amtrak Rainbow Era train. I gotta get a. I have to get an E8 to run with the SDP40F. That way I can have a true Rainbow Era train. Mixed power and all. You were always preferred the CV noodle. The CV noodle is also really nice. The yellow on green, I think, works so well with it, with the shape of the noodle. And I am working off camera again. There I am. It actually inspired an alternate scheme of if the F3s were repainted into blue. Ooh, cool. D&H ran plenty of PA power with Amtrak cars, so that's an option too. Absolutely, and Corey, you will be extremely happy to know that at some point I do definitely want to get a D&H PA. Make it a PA4, because I learned that I found photo evidence of a train heading east, like a long distance train heading east, from the Morrison-Knudsen plant after MK rebuilt them for the D&H. So it was a D&H DNHPA on point with Amtrak SDP40Fs trailing. You know, running elephant style, front to back. So I will definitely be recreating that at some point, and what I would probably do is Rapido did not make those in N, unfortunately. They did not put out their PAs. So the best ones around are still, well, the most modern ones around, I think, are the Broadway Limited ones, but Broadway Limited is so-so. Kato has really good ones, really good PAs, but those are fairly old at this point. So, we shall see. There's the rest of the, where's the rest of the, where's the rest, is this it? Yes. I'll trim it right there. Had a Concord PA that was all right in Pensy Green. Yeah, I've got several. Actually, not. Are they Concord? Yeah, they're definitely. I've several Concord PAs and PBs, so I might just repaint one of those because I do have several in McGinnis scheme, and they're all the same numbers, so. Strangest slash up you've seen in your slide scanning so far is 2 RS3s, a C420, and 3 PAs on a freight north out of Mechanicville. Yeah, that's a heck of a lash up. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. If you think that's a crazy lash up, you've seen one photo on the Southern with 5 RS3s, a Jeep 30, Jeep 35, Jeep 38, 2 Jeep 38-2s, and an FP7. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's also a heck of a lash up. Oh my gosh. Five RS3s alone is pretty sweet. But then onto the 5 RS3s you add like every ascending Jeep between Jeep 30 and Jeep 38. And then you toss the FP7 in as well. Three of the RSPs were leading and were the only units under power. Oh my gosh. Good pullers indeed. If you're also interested in the Reading and Northern Jeep 30s, look like the videos on YouTube now. You're only saying because that's what you see almost every day and it's awesome to see them. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I gotta check that out, Nathan, for sure. Oh my gosh, it's 10:55. Alright, well, I'm gonna try and finish up this stripe, and then I think that'll be the end of the stream because it is getting way too late. I've forgotten how long decaling takes when I'm chatting. Not that it's a bad thing. It's great to see you guys. Chelsea's reminding you that it's bedtime. Sounds good. Thanks for stopping in, Sam. So great to hear from you. And yeah, see you on the Discord. And I will looking forward to getting back to recording the podcast with you 2 weeks from now. Just before Amherst for me. That reminds me, Corey, I don't know if you use Discord very much, but if you do, I have a server for you to join, which is, all for, and I guess this goes for you too, Nathan, which is all about, all for, what am I saying? All for, it's basically, it's a community of younger model railroaders and rail fans. And it's very active, but yeah, absolutely, Corey. But yeah, if you guys are interested, I don't actually have the link saved in my description for the Discord for the model train people, but MTP is a great community, so I can if either of you guys are interested, I can grab the link real quick and toss it in chat for you. You should make an account. You hear about Discord a lot, but when you try to use it, it's confusing. I mean, yeah, no pressure at all. It's totally get it. It's not for everyone. I'm just, I've become a very, big proponent of that community. So, you don't think you've used Discord since 2020? But yeah, if you guys want, I can grab the link for you and toss it in the chat real quick, the invite link. But it's totally up to you guys. I just, I know you guys are both model railroaders on the younger side, like myself and like most folks in that community. So I wanted to invite you guys. Yeah, of course, Corey, for sure. For sure. I'll send it your way. And yes, Corey, you'll be happy to know that in that community there is a fairly large contingent of O-scalers. So you will be amongst your peers. Just a little bit more here, and then I gotta get the stripe down the long hood on the other side, and then I think we'll wrap stream there. You are far from alone, Corey.
Oh, speaking of decaling, Corey, did you ever get around to doing more work on that observation car that I touched up for you and the flat car and stuff? No, no, like pressure on it or anything. I'm just curious, what became of it. If you've gotten around to that, or if if school's kept you busy. Well, school and work, of course. Never got any decals made. It's been on the shelf. Yeah, absolutely. That makes, you've had a lot on your plate the past, little while, so I don't blame you at all. Like I said, I was just kind of curious. There we go. But somehow, let's see. You'll run the Pullman around when you do the passenger cars, but they're too tight, and yet big boy can fit around Littleville. So you just can't make these things up. There we go. That side is done with the stripe. So now we just got to do this segment of the stripe here, and we will be in business. And actually, I think I am going to quickly, once that's done, I am going to quickly do the rest of the work for the on the cab, because it's easy. So I need to go to about there. There we go. How often do I do these? Every Monday night-ish? Every Monday night-ish indeed. In fact, every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. I go live. It's been, I've taken a few weeks off here and there, but for just about a year now, it's been every Monday night, from about 9 p.m. to a little after 11 p.m. Eastern. And I follow on after my good friend Paul, Finger Lake Paul, of Paul Stinks Finger Lakes Railways, and he does the 7-9 shift in the live streaming factory. But yeah, we do a weekly double head show sort of thing where we swap off at 9 p.m. It's been a ton of fun, and I gotta say, Corey, you were one of the people that inspired you, Heath Hurwitz of Humanity Junction, of course Paul himself. You guys were I think the 3 biggest inspirations in getting me to start weekly streams. So gotta credit you guys with that. and or blame you. Oh boy, this thing is ribboned. How did that happen?
Yep, Heath. Heath indeed. I have some stuff that I'm working on for Heath that I need to finish up before Springfield so I can deliver that to him. I've got this. He had me put a small capacitor in this locomotive, and I'm doing a little bit of programming on it for him, and then I've got a couple undecorated box cars that I need to get painted up for the B&CCS for him. That that all is going to get delivered back to him Saturday at Springfield, because that's when he'll be there. There we go. Alright, so now let's get this last bit of stripe. Is that enough? Yes, it is. Alright, so we're going to trim it. To there. Okay. There we go. All right, let's get these cab decals on, because I just want to at this point. Because I want the long hood to be done in terms of Lehigh Valleyification. There we go. Nope. Don't need the Q-tip right now. I just need this to take a dip.
There we go.
Do I know the number of my SDP40F off the top of my head? The one in the picture is 591. I do not have 591. I think I have 505. 1 second. It's right over here. I'll grab it and let you know. It was not, in fact, right over there. Where the heck? I must have put it away in my train bins. Yeah. I can pull up a picture on my Google Photos real quick, though. But I'm fairly certain it's 505. Yep, 505. Got the photo. Where's a better picture of it? It's my F40s. There we go. Here it is at the, I believe at the Albany show. Oh no, that was at the Amsterdam show. That's what that was. There we go. There she is. Amtrak 505. I also, let me pull that up real quick because I think that was cool. I found this somewhere, and now I really, really want to make one. I think I found it on like a historic, a historic railroad Facebook page. I mean, and now I really, really want to make one of these. This was a proposed scheme, but not the selected scheme for the Amtrak SDP40Fs. So this is what the diagram looked like, and this is colorized what it would have looked like. And now I really want to make one. You know, it's got white safety chevrons on the nose. It's got like a hockey stripe kind of vibe to it. And then the pointless arrow splits, goes up and over, and then down along the sill. And I think it just looks so sweet. So now I really kind of want to... I got to figure out what decal sets I would need to get, but I think it's so cool. Anyways, let's finish up this locomotive here so we can all call it a night. There we go. We've got the 4640 or 7640 crossed out there. Because it's going to become B&CCS 314. So we've got the Lehigh Valley / Conrail number crossed out. All right, we've got this one already cut out. So let's go ahead and put that on. Kyle, good evening. Unfortunately, you're here just in time to see me wrapping up what I've been working on tonight, which is this Lehigh Valley RS11, which is actually not a Lehigh Valley RS11. Looks can be deceiving. It is an ex-Lehigh Valley, ex-Conrail, B&CCS RS11. But I'm just getting the numbers on here, and then I'm going to call it a night on this here stream because it is way too late. But the plan for this unit basically is it's going to, now that it's got its Lehigh Valley decals, these are going to get sealed. It's going to get the Lehigh Valley painted out. And then we're going to scrub away the paint, but just leave some residue. And then have Conrail patches right here and on the noses in the center where the LV used to be on the diamonds. And then those are going to be crossed out, and instead we're going to have B&CCS patches. So it's going to be a locomotive that tells a story, and it's going to have ESU loc sound in it, which is pretty fun. And then we also have a work in progress B&CCS RS11 here that I have the decals ready for as well, but I just didn't get around to doing them tonight. I was hoping I would get them done tonight, but so be it. But yeah, so with that, the decals I have left for the Lehigh Valley one before I seal it. Actually, that's something I do need to put on before I do anything else, which is going to be super fun to do. Let me pull my reference photo to make sure I get it in the right spot. Big projects indeed. Yeah, right there. Okay. So I'm already on the right side. This does have to get put on first before the first layer of sealant, which is the ALC build plate. I did recreate it in Adobe Illustrator for this project. Where did you go? There it is. Oh wait, that goes on the sill. Right. Alright, well I guess we'll do the F's as well then. If we're already on the sill. There is our build plate. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Actually, it needs to go further forward. Goes right about there. Perfect. Jason, good evening. Glad you're here. Unfortunately, I have to be the bearer of bad news and tell you that I'm putting on 2 more decals and then wrapping the stream. So, but I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for stopping in and tuning in tonight. Hope you're doing well. Sounds good, Corey. Thanks so much for stopping in. It's so good to see you around online again. Hope to hear from you soon. And if nothing else, see you at Springfield. Also an N scaler. Awesome. Yeah, I'm working on decaling this locomotive right now. This is, of course, an N scale. This is an old Kato RS11. I'm decaling it for the Lehigh Valley, and then I'm undoing the Lehigh Valley decaling to patch it into Conrail, and then I'm repatching it into my fictional road. So I custom painted it for the LV, and I designed all the decals for it. And then now we are just about done with the first phase of decals on this. And then it needs to be sealed. Painted again to simulate as if the LV decals were basically painted over and then they kind of fought their way back through. And then we're gonna put the Conrail patches on and then seal those, and then we're gonna weather it, and then we are going to, there we go, finally got the decal out of the freaking water. What? No! Where'd the decal go? Oh boy. Where did it go? Well, that's unfortunate.
I lost my tiny F.
See. You have paint and decal work on a few models in your future, doing a wartime wartime GS4 and a painting Hershey FT-AB set for your wife's candy train. That's so fun.
The wartime unit is so the wartime GS4 is awesome, but the paint in a FT-AB in a Hershey colors for your wife, that's so much fun. All right, let's grab that and just put it there, and then let's get that decal off of there, and then I'll steal one of the Fs from the failed set of decals. Uh-oh. Come back here, you. Some more water on the sill. The decal to float freely. There we go. Now get the decal paper out of there.
So, Jason, I presume by both your username and your interest in Wartime GS4 that you are primarily like an SB modeler. Your wife does all the set type trains, circus, Pepsi, candy, foods, popsicle. That's so cool. I love to hear when people can share the hobby with their significant others. That's so much fun to hear. Let me grab that failed decal set, which I think is in the box over here. Mostly UP and SP, but also a bit of everything. Fair enough. I'll be back in just a second. I'm just gonna grab this other decal set so I can. Actually, wait. Went here, didn't it? It might just be right here. If it is just right here, then I don't even have to go anywhere. Circa arc. Logos. G9. No, it's not in this folder. Okay, let me go grab it, and it's still over here. Still over here. There we go. Alright, let's get this out, and then let's get this done. You love to do little installs and push your skills actually a little bit. Exactly. That's a lot of what I'm doing. I mean, that's what this unit is going to be, a stretch unit for me, because this is going to be the first time I will have ever installed a sound decoder. I'm going to put a ESU Loc Sound V5 into this RS11, which is involving quite a bit of frame milling to do in order to get the speaker and the decoder and everything to fit. But I'm growing from it, and that makes it worth it. Not to mention that the final result is going to be super awesome. I'm also going to put a rotary beacon light on the roof, which is something I have already done. I super detailed Kato SD40-2 recently for my railroad.
and that was part of it.
In addition to traditional super detailing stuff. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try this one. Paint isn't overly difficult, but the decals have always been... Paint decals the next area you need some experience in. Paint is overly difficult, but the decals have always been your weak spot. Yeah, that's fair. Decaling is very hard. I've gotten quite good at it over the past several years because I have a fictional railroad that I do a bunch of decal work for, both in, like, on rolling stock and locomotives. So I've gotten quite a bit of experience over the past few years. In doing it, but it can be tough. It's in my ongoing projects bit down here. Let me show this to you. This is like a 50 decal car. I think I count. Well, actually, more than that. I think this was like a 48. Slightly less than that. I think this was a 48 decals on this boxcar, and this is an end scale. Actually 50 now because I added these ones. This is an end scale 50 foot per diem boxcar for my railroad. And I designed all the graphics minus this. This was designed, the little white thing down here that can't really be read. That was designed by my friends. That's a project that I'm a part of called the Short Line and Regional Carriers of America, and the Association for Railcar Conformance. You can look them up on Facebook and learn more there, because that's where the Facebook group. It's a Facebook group that or a Facebook page that we started, but it's kind of like a fictional organization that kind of connects a bunch of different freelance railroads. So it's pretty fun. Pretty fun to do. You're also kit bashing MT from a Bachmann Heavy Mountain as the base model. Cool. My first ever kit bash was a very, very light kit bash. It was a Bachmann, I think it's a light mountain, into a New Haven R3A 4/8 till. Which included basically just a Lesko feed water heater above the boiler and repositioning the bell back to halfway down the length of the boiler, and then paint work and decal work. But it was cool. It was fun. I want to get that model running better. I probably have to disassemble it and clean out all the gears and stuff for my weathering. But anyways, thank you, Jason. All right, I think that's gonna do it for tonight. That's gonna do the trick. That'll do me. Let me just get this. To sit on there, and there we have it, folks. A Lehigh Valley RS11, which will not remain so. So thank you everyone who tuned in tonight, for checking out the stream and for hanging out. Streams are every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern to just a bit after 11 p.m. Eastern. I hope you all have had a wonderful time here tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, hope you all have a lovely night. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all on the next track.